Hello and welcome back for the first video in our series on this LJ Peretti pipe. This is a pipe that I mentioned in a previous video that I got off of eBay for a very reasonable $10, and I'm really looking forward to working on this guy. So LJ Peretti, for the guys out there that may not know, is a very well-known tobacconist in the Boston area. It's an old tobacconist. It was first opened back in the 1870s. And they've been making pipes since the early 1900s, sometime around 1915, 1920, somewhere in that time range. The pipes were, in some cases, made in-house by Robert Peretti, who was the son of the founder, and in other cases were commissioned through other companies. This pipe is stamped, so let me see if I can get this focused so you can actually read the stamping. It's a little bit worn, but hopefully you'll be able to pick up that does indeed say LJ Peretti. There we go. And on the other side we have a cursive stamping of genuine Algerian briar. So this is an Algerian briar pipe. The grain on this briar is interesting. We're not seeing a lot of bird's eye or straight grain. There is some fairly wild grain in here. A little bit of flame that seems to be coming out in spots. So I don't know how this is really going to look once we get it all refinished, but we'll look forward to finding out. The pipe itself has not been very well cared for by the previous owner. The cake buildup is monumental. As you can see, there's quite a bit in there. Cannot get my finger down into the hole. And if you see all the way at the bottom there's sort of a little chamber that's been formed. It appears that the cake had gotten to the point where it actually occluded the airway. And I'm guessing the previous owner got a pipe pick or some sort of tool down in there and just kind of chipped away and opened up the air hole in order to keep it smoking. Clearly they liked this pipe. Regardless of how they treated it, it was a good companion to them. The other problem is that the owner was also a knocker. You can see the chipping around the rim here, where whoever smoked it was probably knocking it to get the ash out, and that's unfortunate, but we can certainly sand that down. We'll just top this off straight without taking too much off of the bowl, so that should cosmetically not be a problem. The issue with doing that, of course, is that we will then have to stain the rim, but that's okay because I really think I'm going to completely take the finish off of this and sand it down. There's a few fills here. There's a prominent one right there that I'd like to get rid of because I'd like this to look a bit better. And so I'll probably take the fill out, get rid of that putty, and maybe fill it with something a bit more neutral that'll pick up the stain better. So this is going to be a refinishing challenge, but that's okay. You'll get to see that process in action and maybe learn something. Final thing I want to talk about is the stem on this pipe. This is a bit of a mystery. So the Peretti stems all had a very prominent P in a circle logo on them, and I have tried catching light in all different ways, and I can find no evidence for a logo ever being on this stem. The other thing that is interesting about this stem is that it's fairly rough. I mean, it feels almost like it had never been sanded or polished. The edges are a bit sharp, and right along the edge here I can feel what appears to be a sharp molding seam on both sides. So I don't think this was a hand-cut stem. I think this was actually a molded vulcanite stem that was put on here, possibly as a replacement. What I find interesting is that if you turn the stem, you can see that the stem actually fits the shank quite well and is very well lined up there. So there's no issue with it. However, if I turn it 180 degrees, you see it no longer lines up at all. It's actually quite a bit off. So what that means is that the mortise was not drilled at a perfectly central or at a straight angle going into the shank here. And that's not that uncommon for pipes. I mean, they sometimes get off a bit. And it's not noticeable because the stem can then be shaped to the shank, which has happened in this case, and you can see it's a very good fit when it's in its proper orientation. What troubles me about that is that if you're going to go to all the trouble of fitting that so well, why not just go ahead and sand out the molding lines in the stem? So something odd is going on here. I don't think this is the original stem, but we will get it into shape and have it looking good. There's a few chatter marks in the stem, a little bit of a dent in the button that we're going to have to deal with somehow. But other than that, the airway doesn't seem to be particularly problematic. I'm sure that there's some occlusions down here, as I mentioned, because of the way the cake buildup is gone, but we can ream that out. And the airway itself in the stem is it looks great, so I don't think there's going to be any problems there at all. So anyway, that's the challenge that we've got before us. It should be an interesting project. As I go through this, I'm going to try to shorten things up quite a bit. There's no need for me to, once again go through all the sanding steps on the stem and all of that. I'll just say, now I'm going to sand the stem. Here's the sanded stem. So that should speed things up a lot, and I'll try to refer to the earlier videos so that you can go and look at that information if you're interested or if you didn't get a chance to see it the first time round. But that will shorten things up quite a bit, and hopefully we can get this done in well under 5 videos this time. I'm looking forward to getting this project rolling. This is, if all goes well, I'm going to give this to someone as a Christmas gift this year. So I'd really like to find out soon whether or not that's going to be feasible, or if I have to come up with a plan B. Anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed looking at this pipe, and I hope that you'll tune in for the refurbishment, which should be an interesting process. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead and like, comment if you have anything you'd like to say or any suggestions. I really enjoy getting the comments, like reading them, getting to know you all. And if you'd like to subscribe, please go ahead and do so that you can stay up to date on this as I go through the process. You'll know when the new videos post. I'm trying to post 1 or 2 of these a week, so hopefully this will not take much more than a week to get through to the end. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.